So here we are, another movie. Let's get into it.
Peacock.
Yeah, this is a little late, I think so, but we were just on Peacock and we decided to give it a watch. It was Sick, and this movie, pretty alright.
Yeah, it's funny. Sick was one of those movies, I heard about it from a few other people. As one does with the movie, but on Twitter I heard about Sick, and it was one of those movies that was getting a lot of praise, and so I was just really curious because people were making it sound like it was this ingenious new film coming out, and then there are some people on the flip side of that saying, Sick is actually really dumb and on the nose. So I'm like, sweet, another movie that's causing all this debate on Twitter. Gotta watch it. So, getting into this, I can actually see both sides of the argument with Sick. I think Sick is a movie that you could either see as something that is way too on the nose with its themes and way too on the nose with its messages and just annoying to watch. Especially when the movie really shows the tricks up its sleeve. I think you can definitely take this movie as just kind of beating you overhead. Or you can see it like I saw it, which was really funny and really hilarious self-aware parody. I do think this movie strikes a nice balance of being funny and self-aware of its premise, but I think it's also doing a good job at being funny with it. Yeah. I don't think the movie is trying to be this revolutionary message or anything like that, as some people could interpret it as. I do think this movie is genuinely trying to have fun and make fun of all camps in this conversation that the movie's talking about. When you watch it, you'll know what I mean. But I think it's really funny. And
they really do just make fun of everyone, pretty much, I would say. As a slasher film goes, this is definitely not my favorite. I mean, it's not horrible either. I do have a satisfaction with some of the kills. I thought they were just nice. They weren't honestly really creative or anything.
That's actually that was my favorite part of the movie. I thought the chase sequences in this film were really well done. I thought all the little moments where we have main character having to run away from a killer, especially the opening. I thought the opening scene did a really good job at establishing how the kill scenes were going to be handled, and I think. In camera and in frame, the film does a good job of being shaky and being grounded without losing me. It doesn't ever feel so much. I'm stuttering. It's been a while since we filmed. I really like that this movie had a lot of shaky cam, but it was used, I think it was utilized well. I never thought it was distracting or taking me out of the movie. The campiness and the silliness comes from how characters interact with each other, not from the actual horror scenes themselves, which was nice. And I thought the movie did a good job at balancing both of that really well. So the chase sequences, really well handled. I thought they were really good there.
I really do like the tense, I guess, situations they put the characters in. I feel like this movie could have done so much more with the creepiness, or it makes sense because the motive of these people is kind of ridiculous. I mean, that's the controversial part in my opinion, where some people can view that as ridiculous, or it's like, yeah, that makes sense because they do it in a very realistic way, and I do appreciate that. It just feels so weird. Like their purpose is just silly in my opinion, and it's just like but also it's a great way of showing you how crazy people can get over fear and mass paranoia.
Yeah,
it shows you the lengths that people can get driven into, which I really like because that's very realistic at the same time. It's just some things work for me, some things don't work for me. Overall, I did have a fun time watching it.
Overall, what did you think of the? Because this movie does take place during COVID. I think to give a little more context, because we're being so vague about it, this movie takes place during COVID times. So the movie had a lot of plot elements regarding COVID safety and what was happening during 2020 when everyone started, taking toilet paper, going to the store, and everyone started, quarantining for themselves. That's the angle where I can see this movie kind of being taken to one or two ways. One being too extreme and on the nose, the other being really funny and also really aware. And I do think I like that we're starting to reference, COVID and stuff in films, because it is something our society dealt with. It'd be weird for movies to pretend not to acknowledge that. Does it need to be in every movie? No. But I do agree. I do like the fact that this movie handled it in a way that was a lot of fun, and I had fun watching it.
There's one scene in particular that was about to be a hit. It completely ruined the movie for me, and you know what scene it is. It's just because they were hitting it on the nose between
I thought
how people can be.
The movie has an explanation for a certain character choice at one point, and I thought without that character choice, it would have still been hilarious. Personally, I was like, you know what? Even though it kind of doesn't make sense, I think it's really funny right here. But again, the movie has a trick up its sleeve to kind of explain that and make other viewers not really get taken out of it. And I thought that was again well handled. The film's a really fun slasher. I think the characters are fine. They're serviceable. They get the job done. All the performances are pretty solid. I do think there are moments where we have a certain character named DJ who shows up, and this guy, like, he is literally the walking embodiment of a red flag, and no one really says anything about it, and that took me out of the movie. I was like, you guys are silly, and you're being really stupid. And that was the one thing that didn't feel self-aware to me. I thought none of that made sense.
I mean,
but,
it was like a classic kind of like slasher trope, you know, where you have a character that you're kind of sus about, but, you know.
Yeah, you can tell, you can feel the writing in that moment where they're like, let's just, I know this is creepy, but whatever, you're sticking around. We need you for the plot. We need bodies, so let's do it. And that's kind of the vibe I got from it. So overall, sick. It was fun. Would I watch it again? Probably not, but hey, go check it out. It's on Peacock, and it's better than getting a crappy streaming release, in my opinion, so that's good.
Yeah. Tell us what you think about it if you have watched it.
We have Last of Us Episode 1 review coming to you guys soon, and same thing with Episode 2. They're a little behind right now, but they will be coming to you. Plan to do episodes week by week, or at least episode by episode if it doesn't end up being week by week. Thank you. Scatterbrained Reviews. I'm Justin.
I'm John.